Alright, welcome to Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we're going to be reviewing Warcry by Games Workshop, the newest product in their Age of Sigmar line. It's a miniature skirmish game based in Age of Sigmar, as I said. So here's a couple questions.
Brian, as you know, I took a pass on the big box set when they came out.
You did.
So, because I've bought so many miniature skirmishing games right now, that this one, I've developed a new rule: wait till the third expansion. Because I was drawn in by Necromunda, so I've got a bunch of Necromunda books that are out of date. But they have been releasing a very quick schedule on these, and we're already on Monsters and Mercenaries.
So and we just got the announcement that there's going to be another release, so guess who's getting a box soon?
I might go through the three manuals. So when the third manual comes out, I'll buy all three, and then we can start playing that. Because I think that gives us enough diversity in, warbands? Is that what
Warbands,
okay.
Yes.
Well, let's start with that. What's the theme?
The theme is, the 8 points where the 8 magical realms meet are being taken over by chaos. And so you're taking a warband to get the favor of the Ever-Chosen. Now, there are other bands coming in from the other non-chaos, so death, destruction, and order, to kind of make their own stakes, but it centers on the chaos warbands and their vie for power and the blessing of the Ever-Chosen.
Alright, so this is more like a gang. You're constructing a gang to go fight. Yes. From the artwork, it's like a desolate middle of nowhere hellscape.
So, I mean, where the points where the eight realms meet, it's called the 8 points. 9 realms, 8 points. And where each of these meet is just a war-torn, destructed hellscape where really chaos reigns. Whether it is order magic or anything, it's two connecting points where things meet, so it's just war-torn.
So if I wanted to play this, what do you need to play this game?
So you're going to need a warband. So GW offers boxes of chaos warbands specifically made for Warcry, or you can download, there's an app called Veranscribe that you can go see all of the usable miniatures for different groups, and you just need a couple of miniatures anywhere. So point-wise, it goes about 1,000 points.
Okay.
And you'll be anywhere from low end of 6 to 8 to high end of 15. There's a cap of 15 miniatures.
Okay. It's like tilting, cap it out at 20.
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to need D6s like every other Games Workshop game, and you're going to need a ruler, of course. But honestly, you only need a ruler that goes about 8 inches for most warbands. Other than that, that's about it. And of course, terrain, which they offer terrain boxes as well. You'll need a deck. There are a couple decks that you'll need to fight. So there's 4 separate decks. The first deck is to decide how the table is laid out.
Now this is all in the box, right?
This is all in the box. This is all contained in the box. So if you buy the main box, which I suggest that's the best way to get into it, you'll get everything you need. So the first one is the terrain cards, which are the least needed. So they tell you draw a card and it shows you how to lay out the terrain, depending on what terrain set you have. You don't need them. So you could lay out the terrain however you want. So the other 3 decks you could buy as a separate card pack, and I really suggest that. That's what I got. And so there's the battle line one where it shows you where to put how your units come in, and then there's so that's the placement one. Then there's the one that just that decides how the game is won.
Like a victory condition.
Victory condition, okay. Yes. Actually, it's called the victory cards. So there you go. And then there's the twist. So each time you'll play, you'll draw a twist card, and that'll add like a different element. Sometimes the chaotic beasts will come in, and you have to fight them along with the person that you're fighting. And there's like an AI system for them, and then so you might need some of those. But you can take those cards out of the deck. So if you don't have the chaotic beasts, don't worry. You can just take those cards out of the deck, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. So, how would you describe the game mechanics? How do you play Warcry? Because it's different from Kill Team or Age of Sigmar Skirmish.
It's very different from all of those. So you're going to start off with 6 dice, and so this is the initiative system. It's a very interesting initiative system, and I like that they're playing around with this kind of stuff. You'll roll 6 dice, and you'll roll them, and then for every set that you get, so any doubles, triples, quads that you get, you'll put those aside, and then whoever has the most single dice that didn't fit into a double or triple or a quad goes first. And so the person who goes first gets to choose what they do with a wild dice. So each turn you're going to get a wild dice. This wild dice can be used to put into any pool. So you can make a single die, a double, triple, a quad. You can't go above a quad. But you could also hold it. And so you'd even make it a single die, so you could decide. So if each person has 2 single dies, you can make yours a 3rd single die so that you can go first.
Okay.
And then so after that, after you decide who goes first, you will go model by model. So I play a model, or I move a model, and they get 2 activations, and then you get a model, and then you do 2 activations per model.
So it's an I go, you go.
I go, you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similar to the Necromunda system.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Which it goes pretty quickly. Games usually last about anywhere 35 to 45 minutes.
Is that the first time through, or is that what you've gotten it down to?
45 minutes is the first time through.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay, on a learning game?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Most games cap out at 3 turns.
What are some of the unique features?
Like I was going over, the initiative system is really unique and really different, and I really like that. The wild dice. Other than that, the AI system, where you could bring in different things, and especially
we started seeing them playing around with that Blackstone Fortress with the AI.
Yes.
Okay.
And then especially with Monsters and Mercenaries, they added in giant monsters, so you could like fight a war hydra or a zombie dragon and things like that have their own AI systems. But what makes this game really unique is the abilities. So, like I said, when you get those doubles, triples, and quads, you'll keep those to the side because you could use those each turn to do special abilities that each team has. So everybody can do 5 specific ones, and those are universal. And then there's a card, or you could use for Anscribe. You don't need the cards. But there's things that tell you what each warband can do. And so like the quad abilities are the most powerful, the double abilities are the most common, but each team has their own unique abilities that they can use.
All right, so now we've got a couple books here. And so I'm used to this with Necromunda and Kill Team, but so you got the core book and we got Monsters and Mercenaries. How is this laid out as a set? Am I going to be jumping back and forth, flipping through them if I'm out there playing? What are you going to find in these?
So if you're just doing anything, so first you have to decide, are you going to be playing with Monsters and Mercenaries? If you're going to be playing with Monsters and Mercenaries, you're going to be using the Monsters and Mercenaries book. But you only so the core book is definitely necessary, of course, it's a core book. But if you do use both, you will be flipping between both.
I mean, are there game mechanics in the Monsters and Mercenaries? So I'm not just pulling a stat line out of this book, then I can set it down and forget about it for the game. Are there specific rule structures that are in this book that I'd have to wait, how does that zombie dragon jump?
The only different rules in the Monsters and Mercenaries are for the chaotic giant monsters,
okay,
because they act differently than everything else.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's the only difference you'll see, other than getting stat lines out of Monsters and Mercenaries.
All right. How gameplay organized? I think you got through some of the turn sequences there, but now you're talking about the chaotic monsters. Do they have their own round as we go? I go, you go.
So they roll 6 dice as well, because they also have
Okay.
access to abilities as well. So the chaotic beasts have their own abilities and everything. So they'll roll the 6 dice as well. They don't get wild dice though, so usually they'll go at last. But they are added right into the fray. So like, I go, you go, chaotic beast. I go, you go, chaotic beast.
Okay.
So, but then, so like they could be first, so they can move in. But then they have the abilities. Now, the AI system isn't as fleshed out as it is in Monsters and Mercenaries, but it's pretty. You just go towards the nearest person and you fight them, and then whoever is, you take turns deciding who's controlling the chaotic beasts.
Okay. Now, when you start constructing a warband, how much customization are you allowed? Because I think I've looked at some of the sprues on there, and great, beautiful dynamic models that Games Workshop's putting out.
Yes.
But it seems like if I need to change out a weapon, if I'm allowed to in the rules, it's going to take a lot of work. Did they actually design it so I could really customize my warband the same way you can in Necromunda or Kill Team?
So this is where Warcry really excels. There are a lot of options for teams when you really delve into it, except for the Chaos teams.
What, 4 or 6 that are specific?
There's 4 right now, and then there's 2 that'll be released.
Okay.
There's 5 right now, and there's 2 that'll be released later. But each one, you get the box, and that's it. Each model's just single pose. There's 1 or 2 alternate weapon loadouts. So a lot of people have been getting 2 boxes, which has been the biggest complaint.
I was going to ask about that, because that sometimes seems like the Games Workshop trick. Like you can have 2 troll killers, but there's only 1 in a box.
Yes.
And so I've got to buy 9 extra guys that I'll never use.
That is
something
so big. Yeah.
Brian, now Warcry, I think a lot of the new Games Workshop's coming out with, out of their specialty house, is campaign driven. What's special about the Warcry campaign system?
The campaign system is what really got me excited about Warcry, and one of the reasons I'm delving very, very deep into them. I am on my 5th warband. So each separate faction has their own campaign route. So it consists of 12 different games. So you have to play 12 different games, and every 4 games you'll have a special game where there's special setups and special prizes or special things given to you. So the first one you'll get a minor artifact of power, and then the second time you'll get a major artifact of power, and then the last one you win. But playing a campaign, you'll have a campaign sheet where you'll get certain items depending on what you play, and everything specific towards your own team. So no one's on the same route unless you're playing the same team. But the Chaos teams that are specific to Warcry have 2 separate routes in the main book that you could choose from, and each one is completely different. So there is a lot of different routes you could play as in Warcry, and the main book does come with the sheets for each one. And then the Monsters and Mercenaries comes with different ones where you fight the giant monsters. So you could, like, if I'm Death, I could go and try and tame a zombie dragon, or I could, or if I'm in Chaos, I could go try and tame a Gargant and add it to my team.
So how are the scenarios managed? Because we've seen this in Kill Team where they have different scenarios in each one of the books.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm doing a campaign and I have these 2 books, how do I manage the scenarios? Like, how many unique scenarios am I getting?
Well, so with the card system, there's honestly an unlimited number of
Oh, that's right. So you can stack them in different combos.
And even if you don't have the cards, I should have said this earlier, in the core book, in the back, there are tables and layouts for everything you need. Okay. So you could just roll a die instead of drawing the cards. Now, you won't get as much diversity in the choices if you just roll out of the book, but the book does have stuff for you to play everything you need.
Okay, so there's scenarios in this one, mercenaries, there's
Yes.
scenario in the core book, and basically you just say, hey, let's play out of the mercenaries book.
Yeah, or you just have the decks and just be like,
Just shuffle them together. Okay,
Exactly.
I like that idea.
So for the first three, so instead of the three unique ones, everyone else is just drawn out the cards. And so on the cards, there's actually a little symbol that will tell you if it's even. So that you could manage your deck, so you could cater your decks towards a more balanced play, which is really awesome because there are some cards that kind of skew it way one way or way the other. But you can tailor your decks to how you want to play, which is what I really like about Warcry.
Now, what would you say Warcry is missing?
Warcry right now is not missing a lot. It's missing some diversity for the Chaos Warbands, which was largely fixed in Monsters and Mercenaries. But it's also, I think they need to add more things from other AOS teams. So like like we have the Ideneth Deep Pin, we have things like that, but we're missing like Skaven. There's no Skaven. There's no other Chaos teams. None of the Chaos teams are included other than the ones specifically made for Warcry.
Okay.
And that's one of the biggest things. So you don't get any Nurgle, you don't get any Tzeentch, you don't get any Khorne, you don't get any like Slaves of Darkness, which actually they did add Slaves of Darkness to Monsters and Mercenaries, but you fight against them. But you can't play as any of the other Chaos teams.
Would that fit in the background? Because aren't you supposed to be vying for Archeon's favor? Would you imagine those ones already got the
Have
yeah.
So yes, you're right.
Now, free cities. Because that's
They need
my
free
army.
cities.
So, yeah.
And dinosaurs. And you need the dinosaur people.
What do they call it? Not lizard men.
Saurons.
Okay.
Saurons? Not Saurons. That's Lord of the Rings.
So where do you hope this game goes from here? Because I know there's a third expansion coming up.
There is a third expansion. I want to see more monsters. I want to fight against more things. I want to see more of the grand factions being able to bleed together. So if I'm playing Death, I want to bring a Cairn Wraith with my Legions of Dagash. As of right now, I can't do that. I want to see more customization with warbands within grand alliances.
All right. So as we wrap this up, we'll to our famous two last questions.
All right.
Two-line pitch. Why should someone play this game?
Fast-paced, easy to get into. The rules are actually very simple.
No, I know you're lying to me. It's a Games Workshop.
It is a Games Workshop, but it feels like they put a lot of work into this game, and it's definitely worth a look. If you find somebody to give you a demo, it'll be a quick demo and you will be hooked. It's honestly one of the best UW games I've played.
All right. So let's find out the last question. Why shouldn't I drop a ton of money on this game and play it? Why shouldn't someone play this game?
Because you'll be dropping a lot of money building more warbands. It is a quickly expanding game, especially with 2 releases within a month, and then another third one being announced. You'll want, especially with Monsters and Mercenaries, you're going to go out and buy more because you want to fight big monsters. You'll want to add to your warband with the Mercenaries. You'll want, because it adds more diversity to everything. So you're just going to be, it is a game where you're going to be buying. And then if you want diversity with terrain and you want to use the card system that they have set up, you're going to buy the different terrain systems as well. So you're going to be like, I want this terrain pack, I want this terrain pack, and this terrain pack, so I can play it 3 different times with the card system.
I think that was the reason I have my 3 expansion rule on this one, is because with the kill team, the slow bleed out of the expansions, decided, okay, let's go with Tau. So you buy 1 Tau, and you buy 2 boxes of Tau. Then all of a sudden a new rule book comes out and say, well, now I can have commanders and stealth battle suits. And all of a sudden, I've almost got a full Tau army, which was never my intent. So I think I'm looking at this more as, I have Free City Stormcast's Eternal Army that I want to draw out of. So maybe adding a couple monsters seems fine if you want to dip your toe in.
Yes.
So your suggestion recommended by, my suggestion is if you have an existing army, give it a couple expansions.
Yes.
And see how well your army's going to fit in. Make sure
Because right now, free cities don't fit in at all.
And right now I can take some of my Stormcasts. I'm already going to have to buy some, because I didn't have what, Vanguard?
Yeah, and that's the main force of Stormcast. So if you don't have them and you have a Stormcast army, then you have to go buy more Stormcasts.
You know what? Unlike Killing might steer away from the specialized terrain, just come to the store and play.
Honestly, yes. Though the terrain packs are very nice, and I have 2 already, so...
And no one in my house will play with me.
There's
No one likes my miniatures.
Same. I'm alone in my room.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Hope you enjoyed this discussion on Warcry and its latest expansion, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!